It's the confession no one expected, but now the entire K-pop industry is reeling with joy, disbelief, and a surge of newfound emotion. IU, Korea's beloved solo queen, has publicly declared herself a massive fan of Jin BTS after attending his heart-shattering Are You Okay Jimy? And her words, "I've never cried this much at anyone's concert before." The revelation came during a surprise segment of the Star Talk Live podcast on September 4th, where IU was asked to name the most emotionally impactful live performance she had witnessed in recent memory. Without hesitation, she whispered, "Jin. BTS's Jin. That concert completely undid me." Fans froze. Hosts paused. The room fell silent. IU, known for her poise and emotional control even in the most intense situations, began to tear up as she described her experience attending Are You Okay Jimy incognito during its Seoul leg in late August. "I went without telling anyone. I just wanted to see him perform live, alone, unfiltered. I thought I was just going to enjoy it quietly. But when he sang Abyss, I couldn't stop crying. I felt like I had been carrying something heavy, and his voice helped me set it down. I didn't even know I needed that." Her voice shook. Her eyes glistened. And in that moment, it was clear. IU wasn't just impressed by Jin. She was transformed by him. IU explained how she always admired Jin as a part of BTS, but never truly grasped the depth of his artistry until she witnessed him alone, vulnerable, and connected to tens of thousands, without the smoke and mirrors of group performance. "I've sung on many stages. I've seen greatness. But Jin, he didn't just perform. He gave. It wasn't just a concert, it was therapy. He stood there and made everyone feel like they weren't alone. He didn't overpower the stage. He brought you into his heart." She confessed that after the concert, she couldn't sleep. She replayed his songs, particularly The Astronaut and Tonight, over and over again, even pulling up his live videos at 3 a.m. in her studio. "It's strange. I've always been so careful with words. But with Jin's voice, I don't want to be careful. I just want to feel. And I think that's the greatest power a singer can have." IU's confession ignited a firestorm of love online, uniting armies and UDNAs in a moment no one saw coming. Hashtags like #IUHeartsJin, #JinTouchedIU, and #AreYouOkayJINepToUR reaction immediately began trending worldwide. Clips of IU's emotional reflections spread across platforms, drawing praise from fellow artists, vocal coaches, and even K-media outlets who called her words the highest praise one vocalist could give to another. And what does Jin say about all this? According to sources close to him, Jin teared up quietly when told about IU's reaction. He reportedly smiled, looked down at the floor, and said, "IU's Sunbeam felt that? From me? That means more than any chart." Back on the Star Talk Live podcast, IU concluded her thoughts with a heartfelt whisper. "I went there as a curious artist. I left as a fan." And just like that, the man who once feared his voice wasn't enough has now moved one of the greatest voices of this generation, not with noise, not with flash, but with honesty. Jin didn't just win over a crowd, he won over IU. As the shockwave of IU's emotional confession continued to ripple through the entertainment world, fans and fellow artists alike have turned their focus to a deeper question. What exactly did IU experience during Jin's concert that moved her so profoundly? The answer, she says, lies in a single song, the moment he sang Abyss. "Something broke in me. And strangely, something healed at the same time." IU described the song, not one of Jin's most commercially promoted singles, but perhaps his most emotionally raw, as the moment that opened her heart completely during Are You Okay Jimy? Originally released in 2020 as a gift to fans during a period of personal struggle, Abyss explores the quiet weight of burnout, loneliness, and the fear of not being enough. Even while standing at the top, it's the kind of song you don't just hear. You remember it. In silence. In solitude. It wraps around your weakest parts. And when he sang it live, I felt like he was rapping mine. According to IU, the live arrangement of Abyss during the Seoul concert was stripped down to just piano, ambient strings, and Jin's breathy, trembling vocals. And in the middle of that stillness, as tens of thousands held their breath, she cried. But it wasn't the only song that stayed with her. IU went on to list 3 other tracks from Jin's solo repertoire that she now keeps on repeat. 1. Tonight. There's a longing in his voice that's so pure, so untamed. It feels like someone's standing at the edge of a memory they can't walk away from. That kind of honesty, you don't fake that. 2. The Astronaut. It's poetic. It's cinematic, but it's also deeply personal. It feels like a farewell, and a love letter at once. That duality, he captured it perfectly. I remember looking around the stadium and realizing everyone was crying, but not out of sadness. It was something softer, like letting go. 3. Epiphany. I've sung songs about self-love. I've written lyrics about learning to love who you are. But when Jin sings, I'm the one I should love in this world, there's a sincerity that goes straight through you. I've sung along to that song before, but at his concert, I believed it for the first time. IU, a songwriter known for her own lyrical depth and emotional honesty, said that Jin's music reminded her why she became a singer in the first place. Not to perform, not to impress, but to connect, to feel, to let others feel with you. Jin's not just a vocalist. He's a storyteller, and every note he sings feels like it's coming from a place he never shows on camera. She then shared a personal anecdote, something she had never admitted in any previous interview. After the concert, I went home and opened my old notebooks. The ones I wrote in when I was 17, when I was unsure if I belonged on a stage. I reread my fears. And I cried. Because Jin gave them a melody I never could. IU even revealed that she's now considering writing a tribute track, not for an album, not for release, but for herself. Something inspired by Abyss. Something that mirrors what Jin gave her. A moment of clarity in the middle of emotional chaos. And what does Jin think of IU naming him her emotional catalyst? Sources close to the BTS vocalist say he was deeply humbled, but also worried. Classic Seokjin. She really said that? About me? I hope she knows I'm the one who admires her. If anything, I should be writing my fan letter now, he reportedly said with a stunned laugh. But perhaps the most powerful moment came when IU ended the podcast with this quiet sentence. He stood there singing about darkness and somehow made us feel light. That's not just talent. That's grace. And so, the story continues. In a world where fame often blurs authenticity, where talent is often mistaken for polish, Jin found the heart of one of Korea's greatest artists, not with fireworks, but with a whisper. And IU, long regarded as a queen in her own right, bowed to that whisper, not out of obligation, but out of reverence. The emotional aftershocks of IU's heartfelt confession continue to reverberate through fandoms around the world. A new question has captured the imagination of millions. Could a Jin x IU collaboration really happen? What began as admiration has rapidly transformed into a global demand. Within hours of IU's podcast appearance, where she praised Jin's voice, storytelling, and soul-stirring live performances, hashtags like #IUXJin, #JinDoItNo, and #collabofhealing began trending worldwide across platforms, gaining over 25 million mentions in less than 12 hours, and the idea isn't coming from wishful thinking alone. Insiders close to both artists have confirmed that conversations are already quietly taking place. There's nothing signed or officially planned yet at HYB. Representative told K-Media Buzz, but both sides are very aware of the chemistry, the momentum, and most importantly, the sincerity behind it all. Industry veterans have been quick to respond with enthusiasm. Lee Hyun-suk, music director at Seoul National Broadcasting, commented, "It's rare to see two vocalists who both carry emotional weight and artistic depth in their delivery. Jin and IU together wouldn't just make a hit, they'd create a moment. The kind of duet that lives forever." And that's exactly what fans are now hoping for. Across X, formerly Twitter, ARMYs and UENAs have started crafting dream concepts for the collaboration. Some imagine a soft acoustic ballad set beneath a night sky, Jin's falsetto weaving through IU's airy tones. Others envision a healing anthem that mirrors epiphany and love poem, a song that speaks to the lost, the lonely, and the quietly hopeful. Even Spotify curated a playlist within 24 hours titled "If Jin and IU Sang Together," featuring duets by global artists like Sam Smith and Kim Petras, Ed Sheeran and Taylor Swift, and Baekhyun and Suzy, sparking further speculation that the streaming giant might be preparing spotlight campaigns should the collab materialize. But what would a collaboration between Jin and IU actually mean for the industry? It would be a reset, says Yoon Do-mi, senior editor at K-Pop Journal. A reminder that emotion still rules above algorithm. That artistry still matters more than aesthetic. IU and Jin are not gimmicks. They are healing, pure and undeniable. From a business perspective, the numbers are staggering. A joint single between Jin and IU could easily become one of the highest pre-ordered digital releases in Korean history, the fastest K-pop duet to hit #1 on global iTunes and Melon simultaneously, a Grammy contender under Best Duo/Group Performance, if submitted internationally, and perhaps most powerfully, it would unite two of Korea's most emotionally driven fan bases in a celebration not of idols, but of humanity. As the online pressure builds, fans have begun posting open letters, art, and even AI mashups of Jin and IU's voices singing together. The most viral post, a fan edit of Jin's Abyss layered with IU's love poem captioned, "Two lonely hearts, one healing voice. Can we dream together, just once?" So, what does IU think of a collaboration? In a follow-up Q&A with fans on Palette Plus, she was asked directly, "Would you ever sing with Jin?" Her answer? A soft smile, followed by, "I would love to, if the moment feels right, and if he says yes." And what about Jin? According to a staff member who was in the room when he saw IU's quote, he laughed, looked stunned, and said, "How do you say no to someone whose voice carried you through your own pain?" As the world holds its breath, hoping for the moment these two artists share the same microphone, one thing is clear. This isn't just a dream duet. It's a meeting of souls. Two artists who have mastered the language of longing, of love, of letting go. Two artists who don't just sing to you, they sing for you. And now, maybe, they'll sing together.